Hello everyone, I am your Kennywood fanatic, and I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Now today, we're going to do a new style video that I have not done for you yet, as seen in past trends. Now my good friend Kennywood Crazy started this trend with his first Kennywood Hot Takes video, so I will follow, kind of copy that, but not really, and I will do verses between three of the most beloved Woodies at Kennywood: Thunderbolt, Racer, and Jackrabbit. Thank you to Kennywood Crazy for this video idea. Here's how scoring will work. For theming and environment, 2 points. For airtime, 3 points. Smoothness, 1 point. Intensity, 2 points. And nostalgia, 2 points. For a possible total of 10 points. Let's get into it. Now for these coasters, they're not really themed at all in the slightest. Maybe other than a cool sign or like how Racer duels with the other coaster. But I'm giving this for theming and environment 1 point because whenever you're on the far side, the side closest to Jackrabbit, you're just up against an ugly maintenance area, and on the other side, you're being dominated by steel curtain, which whenever I'm riding roller coaster, I like to feel like that's like the tallest point I am in the park. I know that's not really possible with some coaster like this, where it's meant more for families, but I still like to feel up there, and steel curtain dominates it. And then you just have an ugly view of the maintenance area. So for theming or environment, I'm giving it 1 point. Now, there is an upside to this environment because you do get a beautiful view of the woods that's past all of that ugliness. And also, whenever you're flying through the structure at the end, it's a very fun experience. For airtime, I'm also going to give it another score of 1 point for airtime. In the front row, you get some mild floater, and for that last dip before the pop up into the brakes is amazing for ejector in the back for the other airtime in this ride. But it still doesn't really deliver. This ride is mild. You will see that later with the intensity category. We'll just do intensity 2 while we're at it. I give intensity a total of 1 point as well. As I've been saying, it's just a very mild ride. It's not very intense at all. So that's where it stands for that. And last but not least is nostalgia. I will give it a 2 out of 2 for nostalgia. This was the first roller coaster I ever rode with my grandfather, like sitting next to him. It was one of my first big kid coasters. I still love this ride. It's a blast. So that's why it's getting a 2 out of 2 for nostalgia. Real quick, I forgot to include the smoothness category. So I'm giving it a score of 1 point for smoothness, 1 out of 1. Very smooth coaster. Love it. All the Woodies there are smooth. Just to recap, environment got 1 point, airtime 1 point, smoothness 1 point, intensity 1 point, and nostalgia 2 points, for a total of 6 points. Next up, we have Jackrabbit. Jackrabbit is a great ride. For environment, I'm gonna give it 2 out of 2 points. It feels like its own little section of woods. That is part of the reason why I love this so much, is I can just like feel immersed. I know it's not themed, but like I can just feel like that is the only place in the universe at once, and I can just ride it and feel like that. For airtime, I'm gonna give it 2 out of 3 points. So this year, the first drop, like the first big drop out of the station, I have been getting more airtime on it this year than I have ever gotten on it. Then the drop right before the lift, I'm also getting airtime. I'm getting airtime on all the drops. Not a lot, but then that double down. Amazing, amazing, amazing airtime. There's one other better series of airtime in the park, but that is the best airtime moment in the park. There's a mini one on Phantom's Revenge, which I also love, but that one's just crazy. I love it, especially for a coaster that is 103 years old. Smoothness, I'm going to give it 1 out of 1 point. It's a smooth coaster. All of Kennywood's Woodies are smooth coasters. For intensity, other than that double down, I'm going to give it 1 point. So, intensity, it's not that intense. That double down, most intense part of it. One of the most intense elements in the park, but still not that intense. Nostalgia, this is another 2 out of 2 pointers. All the Woodies on this list will be 2 out of 2 pointers for nostalgia because this was my first ever big kid coaster. So it will always hold a special place in my heart. Just to recap, environment 2 points, airtime 2 points, smoothness 1 point, intensity 1 point, nostalgia 2 points for a total of 8 points. And last but not least, we have Thunderbolt. This is one of my personal favorite roller coasters in the park, top 15 on my list for me. So let's get into it. Theming and environment, more of an environment, like I said with the other two. I'm going to give it 2 out of 2 points. It just feels like you're back there. Like I said with Jackrabbit, it feels like that this is the only thing in the world for some points of it. And then that helix, just watching it go around, that helix is so pretty, especially whenever you're like in the little plaza area. I love that plaza area personally. That's one of my favorite areas of the park in general. That and, what's it called? Why can't I think of it? And Parkside Cafe are 2 of my favorite places in the park in general. Parkside is just so pretty and so classic. And then airtime, I'm going to give it 3 out of 3 points. All 4 drops are just amazing. Well, 4 of 5 drops are amazing. And that the only thing that doesn't really deliver airtime that should deliver airtime is that first drop. But whenever you're in car 1, row 3, whenever you're first entering the lift hill, you get absolutely ejected. It's the most painful airtime experience I have ever experienced. And yes, I have experienced Magnum XL 200's last airtime hills. I honestly thought those were overrated. But yeah, airtime 3 out of 3 points. Amazing, amazing coaster. Smoothness, 1 point. Actually, we're going to give it 0.5 points. Because earlier in the year, when I was going, it was running a little rough, gave me a little bit of a headache. I still love this thing to death. And whenever I went for Fall Fest and Fright Nights, it was running super smooth. I don't know what happened. But whenever you're entering the final break, or whenever you're entering the station again, there's that last turn. It's kind of bumpy, but you're not going fast over it. So it doesn't really hurt. Intensity, 2 out of 2 points. Like I said, that helix is amazing, especially whenever you're the second person to enter the train. You're just getting absolutely smashed into the side of the train. One of the best experiences of my life. And nostalgia, 2 out of 2 points. This was the first coaster I have ever hyped up. I love this thing to death. It's both my mom's favorite Woody and my favorite Woody at this park. It's my mom's #1 coaster. I love this thing to death. Such a great ride. I recommend everyone who goes experience it, and I believe it is my number 11 on my list overall out of 43. So that is very, 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 very good. Yes, I'm checking right now. It is number 11. So it's just missing out on my top 10. Maybe in the future it will dethrone Big Bear Mountain for that top 10. Maybe Verbolten will get dethroned for number 9. And it is my number 2 wooden coaster overall, only behind Thunderhead. So I love this thing to death, and stick around for the final results. So just to recap, environment 2 points, airtime 3 points, smoothness 1 point, intensity 2 points, nostalgia 2 points for a total of 10 points. In last place, we have Racer with a total of 6 points. This is still a great fun ride. I would definitely recommend whoever's going to this park to experience it. It is never down in my experience. Next up, we have Jackrabbit in second place. This is a great fun ride. One of the oldest roller coasters in the world. One of the oldest in America. In fact, the oldest is in the same state as this, but this is better. This is a better coaster. I would recommend it, especially don't tell your family or your friends about that airtime moment. if they don't already know, because if you know, you know. And just turn around and watch their faces on it, because it is so funny watching their faces after they do that double down. In first place, we have Thunderbolt. What have I said about this? What haven't I said, I should say, about this coaster that has not been said yet? This is such a fun ride, such a great ride. This is my second favorite wooden coaster overall. I would recommend everyone to experience it. Such a fun ride. My third favorite overall in the park. It may retake over Steel Curtain in the future, though. So this has been my my first ever versus, and I would just like to give a few shout outs. First of all, I already said it. Shout out to Kennywood Crazy for the video idea, and thank you to the Coaster Spot and Airtime Thrills for letting me borrow some of their footage for this video. The Jackrabbit footage was Airtime Thrills, and the Racer and Thunderbolt footage was from the Coaster Spot. I hope you guys all have a great day. All have a wonderful week, and let me know how you would do this battle and what other battles you would like to see in the future. Let me know in the comments below. Have a great day. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Kennywood Fanatic signing off for now.